And guess what Meghan was all set to do? You know what she's like when the British royals do anything, particularly Kate or William, but King Charles as well. When they do something that's going to make the papers,
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is reportedly seething with rage after a prestigious Los Angeles Museum Gala withdrew her much-anticipated awards recognition. And the reason? She couldn't sell enough tickets. Yes, you heard that right.
She was going to attend a ball called the Night of Wonder at the Natural History Museum in...
Yeah, we wonder how she got invited.
Exactly. In Los Angeles, where she was going to...
The woman who once dazzled the world from royal palaces to Oprah's couch has hit a humiliating wall in her adopted Hollywood homeland. This isn't just a scheduling hiccup or a polite decline. It's a public snub that's left insiders whispering and the internet buzzing with speculation. So let's peel back the layers of this scandal and ask the question on everyone's lips. Has Meghan's carefully crafted narrative finally crumbled under the weight of its own ambition? The Night of Wonder, an annual gala at the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles, designed to honor influential women in activism, media, and culture.
She was going to be there. She was going to make an acceptance speech. You know, in all her finery. She would have made the papers. So that was the idea. She does last year when Kate was going to...
It's the kind of event where red carpets gleam, cameras flash incessantly, and a $1,500 ticket promises a front row seat to celebrity glory and high society intrigue. Meghan was slated to be a headline honoree, set to receive a Women in Impact award for her supposed championing of equality and social justice. The plan was meticulously crafted, or so she thought. A red carpet moment, a pre-recorded film showcasing her post-royal journey with all its trials and triumphs, and headlines galore to steal the spotlight from the British royals back home, particularly overshadowing the likes of Kate, William, and even King Charles. Her Los Angeles attorney, conveniently positioned on the museum's board, had paved the way with strategic influence, and Meghan's team had been negotiating the terms for months with precision. This was to be another triumphant chapter in her reinvention as a Hollywood icon, a narrative she has tirelessly pursued since stepping away from royal duties. But then the unthinkable happened, shattering her carefully laid plans.
Why she was going to be there, Kevin? Because her Los Angeles attorney is on the board. This wasn't a recognition.
Ticket sales tanked with alarming speed. Despite a heavy PR push, think glossy promotional materials, targeted social media campaigns, and media teasers designed to generate excitement, the public simply didn't bite. Tables sat empty night after night. Sponsors hesitated to commit. Their financial support and the buzz that usually surrounds such high-profile events was eerily absent, replaced by an awkward silence. For a venue accustomed to sellouts and standing room-only crowds, Meghan had become an expensive liability, a burden the organizers could no longer justify. The museum, citing limited capacity and programming shifts as a diplomatic excuse, quietly pulled the plug on her recognition at the last minute, a decision that sent shockwaves through her camp. But let's not be naive. Sources close to the planning committee spill the real tea with unfiltered candor. She couldn't generate enough demand to justify her presence.
And again, it would have stolen a lot of headlines. It would have made great headlines for Meghan, and apparently the museum believes this would have been positive press for them. But for $1,500...
And if that wasn't humiliating enough, insiders suggest a deeper unease. Simmering beneath the surface, donors, it seems, weren't keen on associating their reputations with a figure they view as more spectacle than substance, a perception that has grown stronger with each passing controversy. One board member reportedly laid it bare in a closed-door meeting with unflinching honesty. This isn't a Netflix production. We need real advocates, not celebrities playing pretend with borrowed titles. Ouch, indeed. The sentiment echoes a growing perception that Meghan's activism, touted as a voice for underserved communities and a beacon of equality, lacks tangible roots or measurable impact. What exactly has she done? You might wonder with a raised eyebrow. Well, the script remains silent on that front, and the public seems to share your skepticism, turning away in droves. The Duchess of Delusion, as online critics have dubbed her, with biting sarcasm, failed to draw a crowd in the very city where she's tried to rewrite her story with relentless determination.
For underserved communities. What the hell does that mean? And what exactly has she done in the field of advancing community well-being and expanding opportunity, especially for underserved communities? What has she done in that area? I haven't noticed a damn thing.
I mean, like, the last time
It's a searing indictment of her fading relevance, a narrative fatigue setting in after years of carefully curated victimhood that now rings hollow to discerning ears. And oh, the irony cuts deep. This gala was meant to celebrate female empowerment, a cause Meghan has loudly championed, yet her inability to fill seats turned it into a stage for her own public downfall, a twist of fate that feels almost scripted. Her PR machine swung into action with practiced efficiency, spinning tales of a respectful step back due to scheduling conflicts, creative differences, and other convenient excuses. But journalists weren't fooled by the polished veneer. Within hours, her name vanished from official event pages while other honorees remained proudly listed, a digital erasure that spoke volumes. Page 6 and TMZ pounced with relish, confirming the truth with relentless detail. She was dropped, deliberately and without so much as a thank you or a parting nod. The silence from Meghan only fanned the flames of speculation and outrage. Social media erupted with a vengeance. Hashtags like Conchel Meghan, Noon to Watch, and Duchess Down trended across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, a digital storm that amplified her humiliation. Imagine the sting. So dislike that even an award tribute in your hometown flops spectacularly, leaving her exposed to the harsh glare of public judgment. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no. Behind the scenes, tension had been brewing like a slow-burning fuse. Meghan's team reportedly demanded final approval over every detail, from the music selection to video montages, lighting cues, and even the script for her acceptance speech. A level of control that bordered on theatrical overreach. Organizers, used to honorees who graciously accept recognition with humility, were taken aback by the audacity. One planner quipped with dry wit, it stopped being about the cause. It became the Meghan Show, a one-woman production with no room for anyone else. That attitude, paired with her dwindling draw and inflated demands, tipped the scales against her. Donors, some of whom allegedly pushed back with considerable force, voiced discomfort with her polarizing image, fearing it would turn a unifying event into a political circus that alienated their core supporters. "We don't fund spectacle. We fund substance," one reportedly said with a tone of finality. It's a damning critique, suggesting her presence risked undermining the gala's credibility, a perception that has grown stronger with each high-profile misstep. And then came the climax, a moment that shifted the narrative entirely. After Meghan's removal, the award intended for her was quietly handed to a 22-year-old local activist, a young woman with no royal titles or Hollywood glitz, just a quiet dedication to real issues like education and women's health in underserved communities. Her segment brought the crowd to their feet with genuine applause, a stark contrast to the empty seats Meghan left behind in her wake. An attendee summed it up with chilling clarity and a touch of defiance. "We didn't miss Meghan. We finally got to see someone who earned their moment without demanding it or staging a spectacle." It wasn't just a cancelled appearance. It was a reality check that reverberated through the room. Meghan didn't just lose an award. She lost the illusion that the world still hangs on her every calculated move, a loss that cuts deeper than any headline. The fallout has been swift and merciless. Longtime fans are questioning her relevance with growing doubt, pointing to the Netflix docuseries and the Spotify fallout as signs she's overplayed her hand with a recycled narrative that no longer resonates. Industry insiders, speaking to Variety with guarded caution, reveal that Hollywood's appetite for Meghan-driven events is waning with alarming speed. She's not the draw she used to be, One producer noted with a shrug, the brand is overexposed, overshadowed by her own contradictions and a series of misjudgments. This Gala debacle isn't an isolated case, but the latest in a string of high-profile setbacks, suggesting that Hollywood, once eager to embrace her, is quietly turning its back with a collective sigh of relief. Even more telling was the silence from her list allies, a void that speaks louder than words. No Oprah to rush to her defense, no Serena Williams to offer a supportive tweet, no Ellen to provide a platform, just a deafening void where support should have been, a snub that stings with every passing hour. Meghan's team scrambled to regain control, but museum insiders reportedly breathed a sigh of relief, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. Her involvement had sparked tension that rippled through the planning process, from her team's aggressive demands to the split opinions among donors and guests who couldn't agree on her value. One coordinator shared anonymously with a hint of exasperation, "We've worked with presidents, Nobel winners, and cultural icons. None brought this kind of chaos or demanded such meticulous oversight." Another was blunter still, cutting through the diplomacy. "We didn't lose an honoree. We dodged a storm that threatened to derail the entire event." The shift to the young activist wasn't just a practical decision. It was a principled stand that restored the gala's focus. True recognition, the event proved with quiet conviction, doesn't need a title or a media machine. It needs sincerity and genuine impact that speaks for itself. So, what happens next in this unfolding drama? Will Meghan step back from the spotlight she's fought so fiercely to reclaim, or double down on a crumbling narrative that risks further alienating her audience? In the city she hoped to conquer with her star power, even the applause is fading into a distant echo. This cancellation at the LA Museum Gala isn't just a one-off embarrassment to be brushed aside. It's a turning point in her public descent, a moment that may define her legacy for years to come.